Hey babes, what's going on? It's your girl, that witch Dani. I know recently I've been a little cryptic, or I've alluded on a few different occasions to the fact that I had some things I wasn't sure I was going to share, and I still don't feel like I have. No, you know what? That's not true. Never mind. I was just gonna say I still don't totally feel like I have as much clarity, or if I just wish that I was a bit more comfortable and certain about this, but I did get a very confirmative, sort of message today that definitely gave me clarity. And also, I know that comfort is not what it's about. If I'm comfortable, I'm not progressing, I'm not growing. And that's okay. I'll be uncomfortable. What I won't be is stagnant. And, I joke about astrology and stuff all the time, but I obviously totally believe that it has a very true place and purpose, and I've seen with my own two eyes how accurate, someone's chart could be, including myself. I mean, my birth chart calls me out all the time. So I am a Sun, Leo, a Capricorn moon, and a rising Libra, but I'm also a Libra, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, one of the node placements. Like I have a ton of Libra in my chart, and injustice really is a hot button for me, big time. But at the same time, I also have a very rebellious nature. I don't conform. I don't do conformity. I don't care about fitting in. I don't care about keeping up with the Joneses. I don't own any designer bags. I don't own any diamonds. I don't care about that kind of stuff. All right, I like fast cars. I got a couple fast cars, but I'm not. If it's the must-have purse of the season, I don't want it. That's me, right? Just because I've just always been like this rebellious little brat. And I think that coupled with my absolute fiercely driven, just insane feelings that I have for injustice have put me where I'm at right now. And I do believe that I'm meant to do this. I believe this is my purpose. I believe it's the one I've been waiting for, looking for all this time since my dark night of the soul, when I knew that I had a role to play here and that it would be kind of big, but I didn't know exactly what. I truly believe that I'm meant to really start putting together a collective of like-minded people, which in a way I've already done, right? It's you, that's my babes, right? And we need to move our focus a little bit now. For the last almost 2 years, oh my God, it's 2 years this month. It's October. Babes, it's 2 years this month. Well, 2 years this month is when my dark night of the soul started. And I had the messages to start this business, either the end of October or early November. We'll have to check the Babe Cave Bible because everything's recorded, but, oh, babes. Sorry, that was a moment. So it's been almost 2 years now then, and we've been self-focused, right? Because we had to prepare ourselves, do our own spiritual healing, our own shadow work, our own inner child work, our own awakening work, and, all of those things, and wait for divine timing. And divine timing, it has come and said, okay, it's time to pivot. And now we're going to be focused on helping the collective and really having an impact on the world. And I mean the whole world. So let's go, babes, okay? And many more babes that want to join, please. We need, all of us would be ideal, the whole collective of Earth. But light workers, star seeds, if any of that resonates for you, awakened soul, if you see past the matrix and you've broken it and you've broken out of it, please join us, okay? We, as a collective, the collective of Earth and the Earth itself, need this now. The fact of the matter is, we can no longer trust our government. I don't think that we ever could, but under matrixy, sort of rules and 3D, you know, being trapped in the confines of 3D life, we couldn't see what we can see now. I'm not talking, you know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've never been. I am very much Libran energy, right? Where I will study both sides or all sides of anything before I ever have an opinion one way or the other, and will often come to a place where I'm just going to say, I'm not sure. I see this side and that side, that way, this way, whatever. It's always going to be fair. It's always going to be extremely well thought out, right? So I have never jumped onto conspiracy theories. Like, you know, I used to do paranormal investigation, right? Just regular old, you know, paranormal investigation. I was a medium. I would work with the dead. And, you know, so I was handy to have on a case. And, you know, it was always about like debunking first, right? Like, I don't just go into houses and go, oh my God, your door closed by itself. You demons all up in here. Like 99.9% of the time, you know, it's not going to ever be anything dark like that. And probably 70% of the time, it's not even a haunting. It's like, you got loud pipes, you got a high EMF, you know, level in your house, whatever, right? Like, that is my approach to life. I am not one to jump on trends, obviously, or conspiracy theories. I don't believe for a moment that these are conspiracy theories. I believe this is what's going on. I've been receiving downloads from Spirit about it for a very long time. I've given you guys bits and pieces, like the weather, and that was going to get much, you know, more violent and frequent and all of those things. Some levels of social unrest. I know I predicted the port thing publicly, the port closures, and, you know, a bunch of other things. But the fact of the matter is that I've known about this for years, this time we're in right now. And now that everything is falling into place and happening exactly the way that Spirit showed me it would, of course I believe it's real. It's not a conspiracy theory. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to say before I go any further is I fully expect to be discredited. I fully expect to even be, I mean, straight up framed potentially. Spirit showed me all kinds of things when I was receiving these downloads, and it's why I've been hesitant to speak out, because I have children who live with me. I mean, yes, they're, you know, 18 and 16, and my 20-year-old lives away at school, but you know, they're not babies, but they're my babies, and they're still in high school, and they live here, and I was concerned for their safety, and also didn't want to be thrust into like the throes of something, and then make it difficult for them, you know, with their peers and stuff like that, and just our generally like our safety, you know, like I'm single, and, you know, but I was shown that literally being framed, like things like having people sneaking like into my house or by my house or my car, and like hiding like stolen goods or like drugs or like something like that, you know, to try to frame or discredit me for speaking out, just stuff like that. So I am really calling on my babes that know me, and know my character and my integrity, and would know that that is absolutely not, you know, anything that I would ever be involved in. If it's, you know, illegal, low vibe, criminal, certainly aggressive, violent, or anything like that, you know that I would never be near it. I don't even watch TV or have any connection to news sources of any kind, because it steals my peace, and I don't let anything steal my peace. So those of you that know me, I hope that you'll stand behind me if the time comes that I need that, and I need to be defended or protected in some way, or okay. But I have to do what my soul's purpose is, and be my authentic self, and do the job Spirit's asked me to do. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm concerned about how much to say and how to say it, but I think I'm going to go a little bit less detailed for now, and perhaps dive in. Okay. I truly do mean what I said about the government. I don't care what party or side you're on. I'm sorry, but I don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Um, it's all, they're all sort of working together against you, against us. They're not for the people anymore. We need to be for the people. I read this amazing article in The Guardian, which is odd because I don't, again, have any access to news and stuff on purpose. Like, I don't have an app on my phone. I don't follow any page that does anything like that. Like, you know, but I was searching for something on Google, and I don't even know if it was related, but I just stumbled upon this article, and for some reason it caught my eye, and I just really felt compelled to read it. I haven't read a news article in years. And it was about Western North Carolina, like Asheville specifically, written by a fantastic writer, and I'll have to get her name again. It's Morgan something. I'm sorry, I can't remember it. I was channeling at the same time. But I'll get it to you guys. She lives in Asheville and is a journalist, beautiful writer. I mean, beautiful writer. And was talking about what it's really like there right now. And what stuck out for me is she said, we know the government's not coming. The federal government will not be responding. There is no federal aid coming to us whatsoever. All we have is the kindness of other people and each other's shared resources. And they had a neighbor whose house had like an Airbnb house on the property too. And they kind of made that headquarters, that Airbnb's property. And everybody brought whatever they had. You have water, you have diapers, you've got canned foods, like whatever it is, and centralized in this place. So whatever you needed from this, you could take, and then you give what you've got extras of or don't need, right? And hopefully, collectively, we have what we all need to be okay for a while, because, you know, they're well aware that it'll be most likely years before they're ever rebuilt the way they used to be, right? All of their roads and things like that, but certainly months. You know, a lot of them still can't get out. They still can't leave. They have to have supplies brought into them, you know, airlifted, things like that. But I don't know that if she was aware of it on a spiritual level. I have actually sent her an email and I hope to hear back from her. But she very much was speaking about collective consciousness and how important it is that we all come together. And, you know, I'm reminded of like a very cliche old, like sort of little saying here, but, you know, we are all of one kind, and that's mankind or humankind, right? It was very much a very deeply 5D spiritual message of, we're well aware the powers that be are not coming to save us, and we are coming together to save each other and build our community. She said she woke up to 6 of her neighbors like busting down her door thinking she was dead, because like many other houses and stuff in that area, a huge tree had fallen right on her bedroom, you know, the roof of her bedroom. But you know, she's more affluent. She lives in a bigger home that's built better than, of course, say like a mobile home or something. And it didn't, she survived it. She was protected, you know, by her house, and the tree didn't kill her, where, you know, in that same area, many people were killed that way. There's a young mom who had 1-month-old twins in bed with her that was killed because a tree fell in her bedroom in her mobile home. It killed her and both of the babies. A single mom, like just, you know, but she was, you know, started this process out by saying, 6 of my neighbors coming together because they were so concerned about me. They were busting down my door. They were breaking in my house just to make sure I was alive. They thought they were going to find my body. And they found many bodies. And she said they continue to. That they literally, the river is like essentially giving them up now, you know, or the water, I should say. They're just they're floating everywhere in the floodwaters and coming out of mobile homes that have toppled over on top of one another, and there are stacks of them sort of clustered in one area because the floodwaters pushed them that way, and all of them have bodies in them. Her neighbors, right? Her community. She also alluded to the fact that people cared more for her, and she certainly had noticed a bit more of some level of response or reach out because she's in the affluent area of Asheville and not, down in the trailer parks or whatever, and that it was very apparent to her. And at the end of the day, they all understood and knew that not only were they certain their only chance of survival was to rely on one another because no one was coming to save them, particularly from the federal government, but surprised by how much of them weren't mad about it, weren't like, oh, I hate people, I don't want to have to help people, or I don't want to have people help me. No. We always come together in a time of crisis. Always. It's like your family. Just think of your family. I have a huge family on both sides, right? There's like always like the bickering and like these two have drama today and those have drama tomorrow or whatever. Like, I don't know. And then like, you're the matriarch or patriarch of your family dies, right? And everybody comes back together, for the funeral and keeps the peace and whatever. Maybe they go back to bickering by Thanksgiving. I don't know, but you know what I mean? Or those weeks after 9/11. Remember that? I grew up right outside of Manhattan and in a very affected area where, a lot of people commuted into the city for work every day. A lot of my friends' parents and, all those kinds of things. And I knew people who died that day. I knew people who were first responders that day, all the things. Like that feeling of, I've never felt such oneness and connectedness to like my fellow man or, area or community like I did after that day. It was truly magical. And a couple of years later, I ended up having my first child on 9/11, in 2004. And I guess I'm realizing now how big of a statement that actually truly is for me, because that was my first real like brush with collective consciousness, or the idea that of all of us coming together is our savior, our salvation, and very likely our only hope at this point. I'm trying not to sound like some Hollywood dramatic movie. Certainly don't want to sound like some doomsday forecaster or something like that, because that is not me. Or again, like a conspiracy theorist. I keep having visions of that guy with the long scraggly hair and the glasses from Independence Day, that Will Smith movie, Independence Day. He was right. He was brilliant. He was right all along, but everybody thought he was like a kooky nutbag. I don't want to be known as the kooky nutbag. I need credibility here so that you guys will actually listen and share my stuff, because I have a job to do. We have a job to do. So please, at the bare minimum, it's not going to hurt if I am wrong. But if we don't do this and I am right, that's it. It's it. It's it. That's it. Okay? These huge storms, the solar storms, the hurricanes, the tornadoes, the fires, the earthquakes haven't started yet, but they will. The volcanoes have started a bit, but it's going to get bigger. It's going to get worse, I promise. There's going to be a lot going on with the tectonic plates in Europe, Turkey, those areas. I'm very worried about you. The African tectonic plate, the one I live on, the fault line, I essentially live on, in New Jersey, that goes up, by like Flemington and all that whole area. There is one that goes all like up through like the Buffalo, New York area where my daughter is. And of course, the one that we know exists by Manhattan or in Manhattan, sorry, I don't actually know like the maps exactly. And we all know that there's the huge ones way out west, which I have some concern about. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure those will probably be triggered too, but I haven't been shown much about those in particular. I've seen other things for the west, like very dangerous flooding, storm surges, almost like tsunami kind of stuff, and fire. A volcano out west. I'm not certain, and so I'd rather not say anything and get people nervous, or panicky. You have time to respond and react, and what I'm going to tell you today, we'll know more on how to help ourselves. But that these things are coming. I predicted about a month ago that there'll be some global leader. I don't know exactly who. Someone that everybody would know, not just in our country or something, or someone from another country that we would know. We'll know who it is. Everyone will. That will leave the earthly plane very unexpectedly, and it will cause some things to have to shift and change. Sort of a scramble like energy, and also leave us with the need, but also ability to reflect on what it is their legacy sort of is and what their impact was on the earth. I can't tell you if that's good or bad, but it will require a review for us, and we should listen to that. I'm still standing by the prediction that something major happens that stops the U.S. election this year, which should be in the first week of November. I'm not certain what. I'm just certain it's so big that it would have that impact. Okay. To my knowledge, I don't know if that's ever happened before. Maybe it has in history a long time ago. I don't know, but imagine us not being able to go through with an election. It's pretty big. And then when you get a leader, right? When we elect a leader, or should I say the Electoral College elects a leader, because that's really who does it, and our vote is not bullshit. Of course, it counts towards the electoral vote, but at the end of the day, the Electoral College picks the president. Even after that's happened, if we don't have a ballot thing or the race is too close where it takes 20 years to even get results, they wouldn't be, what's the word I'm looking for? You guys know. When we put the new president in, oh my God, inauguration, until January anyway, right? So why, what would happen that between November and January something couldn't be done? But all I can tell you is I'm still standing by the prediction that this election will not happen. And that's okay. It's okay. Like I said, I'll be honest with you, things have to change. Radically. I'm talking rebellion, revolution, 1776. Okay? They have to change. Or we are all, sorry, Mom, fucked. Okay? I mean that. I mean it. Like I said, I don't want to doomsday here. I don't want to lose credibility here, but doesn't it feel like the end of times to you? Look what we're seeing. That Hurricane Milton, no storm has ever behaved that way. Ever. My meteorologist, my scientist, no. No. But I'm not getting this information on my own, right? Out there with like a map of Magellan and some like weather equipment, like I'm in Twister. I first of all, I'm pointed to things to focus on with my psychic abilities, my connection to universal knowledge and, spirit and my higher self. And from there, guided on what to look at, what to observe. This is suspect. Dani, put your attention here. Put your focus here, Dani. And it'll keep popping up on my Facebook timeline all the time or something like that when I have no follows to news organizations and things, right? The aurora, when have the northern lights that used to only be visible where? Iceland, Alaska, right? Been seen in Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia. What? What? Geomagnetic storms of record-breaking proportion. We had 3 this week. What? And one of the biggest, if not the biggest in recorded history. I don't want to quote that as a fact because I'm not certain, but I believe it was the biggest in recorded history. Just like on October 5th. And we had a huge one on the 1st. There's one going on right now. A huge solar storm. And now we'll have aurora all over again tonight. Certainly here in Jersey. I saw pictures from last night in Lake George and the Adirondacks of upstate New York, which is my favorite place in the universe, that were stunningly beautiful, green and pink or aurora everywhere. But what? What are you talking about? There's a comet coming by tonight into tomorrow, I believe, that hasn't been seen or is only seen every 80,000 years. Do I understand that that sort of stuff happens? And that's, not the first time. Of course I do. But when you take all of these pieces and put them together, the age of Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius for the first time since the American Revolution, the planet of radical change and transformation meets the sign of radical change, rebellion, and the sign that is responsible for the energies of the collective conscious of Earth, Aquarius. I don't believe in coincidence. I've been psychic my whole life. I've seen too much. And even if you do, if you have the ability to be logical, think logically and have a nice resonance, right? A nice balance between your head and your heart energy. Even you've got to be like, it's kind of a shit ton of coincidences, right? A hurricane hit Western North Carolina in the mountains. Hurricanes are coastal storms, y'all. There's no hurricanes in Colorado, right? Do I understand that that's much further from the ocean? Yes. Stop it, I can hear all your little snarky snarks already and you haven't even watched this video yet. Psychic. Stop, just hear me out. Come on. It wiped out whole towns. A hurricane. Not a tornado, not a flood because of some other reason, right? But because of a hurricane. Biltmore, the famous, beautiful Biltmore that withstood however many years, right? However long that historic, beautiful, insane home has been there. It's survived everything else. But it wasn't going to survive this hurricane that had the town it's in its sights, dialed in like a software program. I know you're seeing it all over the place. I know I'm not the first one to say it. I know the conspiracy theorists are out there and they're being really vocal. You know why? They got the same download I did. And they're trying to save your life, our lives, our country, our planet. Everything that the news tells you is either a lie or a distraction. I don't care what channel you watch. You hate CNN, love Fox, hate Fox, love CNN. I don't care. I don't care. I don't watch any of it. I don't get any of my information from there. I get it all from source, from my abilities, from the universe. I don't care what channel you're watching. They're all lying to you. All you're getting is their agenda, their spin, and what they want to release to you. They hold back all the real good, juicy shit. The shit they don't want you to know. Because you'll figure them out. Because you'll see what I've seen and you'll figure it all out. The mask is gone. The illusion is gone. Okay? We see you. I see you. And I know I ain't the only one. They don't want you to see. So they don't report this, but they do report that, or they inaccurately or sensationally report this, or whatever. It's all distraction, all agenda, and all control. It's based on what they want you to know. Did y'all know that Wyoming's been on fire for days? And I mean a devastating fire with the potential to take out, most of the state and even neighboring areas like Montana. It is a massive, out of control fire that they can't get a handle on, that likely will not stop until they get their first major snowfall of the year. Luckily, it's soon. October in Wyoming is definitely potentially snow season, right? But did you know that? I don't have the news, so I genuinely don't know what you guys have access to and what you are seeing, but did you know the severity? Are you being shown images of the severity of what happened in North Carolina? The literal bodies floating down the water. Like, I wish I didn't have to see it. I could have done without Spirit giving me the nice up close and personal on that one, but people are looking for their neighbors. Hundreds of them. Still. Some may never be found, right? Are they showing you that? Are they talking about how FEMA is not coming? FEMA was essentially instructed not to go. They didn't give the money to another country because they're dumb and they just like helping foreign people better than helping Americans. They gave the funding away so that they truly wouldn't have it for FEMA to give to Western North Carolina, because those in control, the powers that be here, want the land. They don't want to help. They don't want to rescue. They don't want to rebuild houses. They want to knock it all down. They want to wipe the whole towns out. And they want to mine the cobalt and the gold and the goods. I mean, gold, it ain't, in a general sense, not literal gold, but they want what that land has to yield. They want it for money and power. That's why no one's coming. That's why only those of us on the outside. I wish you all could see what this candle's doing right now while I'm speaking my truth for the first time. I'm sure if I move it, it'll stop doing it, but I'm a fire sign and I'm very connected to the element of fire. And I work with it a lot. And this candle, since I started talking, has gone from being this big to like this big. And I don't know, maybe you guys will get to see it a bit. I might place it somewhere where you can actually see it. Maybe that's better. I know there's a reflection happening, and that's because I have a really broken ass camera right now, but I'm still pretty sure you can tell that this flame is jumping while I talk. Imagine us living in a world where our own leaders, those that are supposed to protect us, put in policies that are for the betterment of us, ensure our financial security, but also, literal safety from terrorists and all this stuff, right? Being the ones that are literally wiping you out because you're sitting on what they want. Because they made a big ass deal with some big ass billion-dollar battery manufacturer. Wait till you see the tax revenue we'll bring in. Do you want to keep these people who live in trailers here, pay $500 a year in taxes? Or you want us to come in? We'll probably owe you $20 million a year in taxes, whatever, You want everything to go EV, right? Can need a lot of batteries. Can need a lot of cobalt. the infrastructure in the area in and around Asheville and Asheville itself, there's never been money or focus given to that. So their infrastructures were already very, very weak. All of the money and focus for Asheville went into tourism, the Biltmore, etc. And recently, it was just completely avoided repairing damaged bridges, shoring up old, structures that were just not safe anymore. The people that live in that area saw it, the writing on the wall. They knew that infrastructure and things that needed to be worked on was being ignored. It's being overlooked, forgotten. And now they know why. Now, to them, it's super obvious that it was done on purpose. Make it easier to knock down. Now, I understand what you're thinking. Now, again, I hear you, even though you haven't even watched this video yet. But, Dani, that doesn't make any sense. They can't. Now you're saying that they could have made this hurricane and made it hit where they wanted to hit. Fuck yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's not a conspiracy when there's a patent and there's proof. I've followed HARP since its inception. I know nothing about science at all. It's not my jam. It's not my side of things. I think it's cool and interesting. Don't get me wrong. I was married to an aeronautical physicist. But I don't have that brain. I wish I did, okay? I can't math. Math makes me sweaty and anxious. And I don't, it's not. I'm a writer. I'm a creator. I'm a performer, like formerly a dancer all my life and singer and stuff. I'm not a scientist. So I can't give you scientific data, blah, blah, blah. If you want all that, I'm going to give you the areas to focus on and where to go look for it. That's what I can offer you. Okay. But I've been following HARP since its inception. Something about it has always concerned me. Not anything but what I know now, of course. Or I would have this would never have been on my radar because I didn't even know who and what I was until 2022. But I always had a weird feeling about it. I always had a very unsettling, uncomfortable feeling about it whenever I read about it or would see like a documentary on it or something, or a YouTube video, whatever it was. I never thought it was mind control. I always felt it was related to the sky. And that they were doing weather experimentation from the jump, at least since 2015 or 16. I can't tell you how it is that they're able to create weather exactly. I'm not a scientist again, like I said before, but I can tell you that I've studied sound frequency pretty extensively. I grew up in music. I'm a musician's daughter. I have been surrounded by music my entire life. It's what makes me happy. It's what changes my vibration. I'm a lifelong dancer. Dancing also changes my energy in a good, very positive way. There's no dancing without music. I'm a Reiki master teacher, so I am very well versed on the chakras and the frequencies that open them and how they affect the chakras, etc. I assign sound frequency healing to everyone that works with me. And my babes will tell you that if they, their dad's in the hospital with a this or a that, I send them a frequency right away. It's the one thing I know I can do to help them out a little bit, not feel helpless. There are people that have been for years now studying the frequencies of tornadoes and storms. Turns out the frequencies of a tornado are extremely low and very difficult to detect, but they are detectable, and they start around 2 hertz and get smaller. I don't work anywhere near those, levels. For example, the chakras start at like 174, and go up to like 963, right? Just the 3D, like physical chakras, the 7 chakras. That's nowhere near those ranges, right? And I like super high. I don't go super low. I know some people like the lower frequencies. I listen to a 1.4 quadrillion hertz frequency. That's ridiculous. I mean, most people can't bear to be around it, but it sends me to the cosmos. It makes me really psychic, and I like it. All right. It's like my drug, I guess, my high. So knowing that, and knowing that we have this thing called HARP that is US government funded, and its sole purpose really truly is the science of frequency. Sound frequency can create these things, not by itself, but it's a part of the creation of it. It's at least a part of the directional pathway of it. But sound frequency can also break them up. Things like a tornado, a monster hurricane like Milton that came with tornadoes, that changed its path and trajectory every 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, that increased in energy and strength faster than anyone's ever seen or thought possible. What they thought would take 2 days happened in an hour. The path changed continuously, never knowing where it's going to hit, so that nobody has a fair warning. +120 tornado warnings. I was on the phone with people as they were coming through their towns in Western Florida, Southwestern Florida, like specifically around Fort Myers. I know there were far worse ones on the East Coast, I know, but I was on the phone with friends as the tornadoes were coming through their area. They were fully prepared for a hurricane. They'd been well versed in hurricane, but I told them before the storm came, when they decided not to leave, all of my friends in the area, that you've never seen one like this. No one has. We don't know what to expect from it because we've never seen one like this. There's never been. And unfortunately, I was right. Fortunately, I did get this download from Spirit about how we can help. We're not hopeless. We can do things to help protect certain areas or steer the storm away or help it break up. That I broke up and reformed 3 times at least. And then I found out that sound frequency can have an effect on it too. So I did my light worker thing. I asked you guys to do the same. Told my friends how to do it too, to keep their house protected in a bubble of white light and steer the storms away from them. Luckily, that's exactly what happened. I can't say that that was because of us, or if that's just what would have happened no matter what, of course. I have no idea. I have no proof of that. But I'd rather do it, right? In case I am right, in case it does work. So we're going to see a lot more, I hope, come out about that, the sound frequency and weather and stuff like that, breaking up tornadoes, whatever. But of course, I'm concerned that anyone that tries to publish it, and there is some published articles out there that I've been looking at and studying, that they'll just be silenced, that their information will be, either completely annihilated and wiped out and not ever seen, or that they'll be discredited, like it's already happening. If you search up like HARP, more shit comes up about people who believe it's real and their conspiracy theories than comes up about actual HARP, because they ain't gonna tell you. They're not gonna tell you. I know that they opened it up to the public because they were under way too much pressure not to, but again, it's the fucking Matrix. You're probably not even seeing the real shit. It's probably a set built for you to walk through, all right? Like Universal Studios, okay? Remember that. Break out of the Matrix. Don't let them distract you with this shiny thing. See, this is all we're doing here. See? We're making Girl Scout cookies and we're feeding the blind. Come on. just the name of it alone suggests its effect on aurora. Have you noticed that every time one of these huge natural disasters happens, or a massive geomagnetic solar flare storm, whatever, which I understand is a scientific process, but the aurora just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's usually always better the second night of an event, not the first. Like if, they come out and say, hey, you're going to be able to see aurora from the 11th to the 13th or whatever, you're going to see it way better on the 12th than you are on the 11th. And you're going to see aurora bright and well in Georgia. What? Come on. I've lived in the Northeast my entire life. I've never seen aurora. Not even almost. A lot of things I haven't seen, but I see now. I don't know if y'all are Tool fans. My friend and I were talking about this, but I have, used Tool and Incubus music a lot in my classes because they wrote about ascension and awakening and things related to what I now know and teach every day in the early 90s at least, right? They were writing songs about it. Exactly what I teach, like the song Vitamin by Incubus is, should I go back to sleep? He woke up and saw a hibernating human empire and didn't know if he should go back to sleep. And, it's talking about being forced to take this vitamin because the vitamin keeps you in the matrix, keeps you distracted, keeps you where they want you. And then there's a part about come closer to another 2,000 years. You and I will pry the closed eye of the sleep machine. 2,000 years or so, 2,500 years or so, is the last time Earth went through this process. I was allegedly a part of it, my soul, and that's why I was asked to come down again and do this. Do I know if that's true? Nope, I don't. I can tell you what Spirit told me. I don't know. I don't need proof because I have a psychic knowing, but I certainly don't expect anybody to just believe me. That's okay. I think a skepticism, a level of that is very, very healthy. I do. You don't want to be naive and fall for bullshit. That's how we got here. That's how we got here. The Tool song Enema, which I know like some of you may be like, aim again, that name. There's a reason it's called that, because it's literally about Mother Nature getting one. And Mom's gonna fix it all soon. Mom's coming around to put it back the way it ought to be. Arizona's a bay. Learn to swim. Learn to swim. Right? We were finding so many synchronicities and mentions and things in that song to today, like what was going on leading up to this hurricane. It was right before it hit or the night before it hit and made landfall. And it made me remember my time as a kid spent at the native reservations and around an Indian chief that was close to my family. And the chief showed us a map that the natives knew, who, obviously speak to their ancestors and to star family and are connected cosmically the way I am, psychically, all of those things. They showed us a map of what the United States would look like in the future. And I do remember being young, but overhearing talk that it would be certainly within my lifetime. I'm now 43, and I swear I remember hearing that that's about how old I would be. Or it was either going to be like the 2040s, or I would be in my 40s. That map, I forgot about it. I haven't seen it in many years. I'd like to see it again, just so I can confirm that what I saw in my downloads is exactly the way that map looked. But there are parts of it I remember. As a child, it scared the living shit out of me. And I think it's because some part of my soul knew. It resonated for me. It did, because I knew that it was true. I knew that it was going to happen. This flame's growing again, right? I'm talking my truth, so you're going to get bigger and bigger. I hope you guys can see that with this bad lighting, because it really is doing that. But I remember Arizona being waterfront. I remember the Midwest of the earth just being taken over by the Great Lakes, and a lot of those states just gone. Manhattan, which is already an island, was a island, and not even really an inhabitable one. Floating way the hell out, as was California. Half of Florida was gone. It was a very different looking place, America. And I believe we sort of are on our way towards that. Now, how can I say that the government is manipulating weather, but it's Mother Nature's way of cleansing at the same time? I'm sorry. I believe it's a mix. I do. But I can't get my mind off the Western North Carolina thing. Hurricanes are coastal storms. What the hell? $120 Midwest style, massive tornadoes at least, touched down in Florida, just essentially a tropical climate. The Gulf Coast, in Palm Beach, or West Palm, or Palm Gardens, one of them, Wellington, and towards the East Coast, areas were decimated by tornadoes. What? Do tornadoes happen during hurricanes? Mm-hmm. Not like this. Not like this. People who literally study hurricanes and storm chase for a living were crying on their live feeds. They were panicking, you know? The one guy was in Bradenton, Sarasota area, convinced, and this is the guy that everybody in Florida follows, and everybody in Florida knows hurricanes. Convinced that it would hit Sarasota, Bradenton, and then it would move, and it would just show this perfect line going straight for Tampa Bay. And he's racing up to Tampa. In the end, it hit exactly where he said it would immediately, but it was so effing big that it hit it all. It hit where I thought it would hit too. It spared what I thought it would spare. I do think it was supposed to be a whole lot worse, and would have been, if so many of us weren't awakened to the fact that we can help here. We can send light. We can send angels. Our focused intent can move the path of a tornado. Because it can. Collectively, we are unstoppable. And you guys, I don't want you to be shocked, and that's the reason why I'm putting myself out there and risking whatever the hell is going to come my way, whether it's just reputation bashing and, people doing whatever it is they do online, doing my video and like making me out to be, I don't know, it's kind of like alien bug creature thing, or like however the hell they're going to, discredit me or make me look like insane or whatever the hell. You all know, I don't give a shit. I wrote and teach a class called Fuck What They Say. And I mean it. The only person I have to make happy is myself. There is no longer a candle in here whatsoever. Oh, that's a crystal. I want you guys to know that. But somehow there's a flame still burning. But there is not a drop, other crystal, of a effing candle left inside this candle holder. Man, I must have really been downloading all this time. I had no idea those crystals were even sitting on that thing. Okay, flame, you gotta go out. Freaking me out a little bit. Where was I? I don't remember, but yeah, I don't care. I don't care what people say about me. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be myself and do what I feel compelled to do. I certainly cannot believe that source and spirit and my ancestors, my literal ancestors, have a stake in this. It's almost like my ancestors were controlled and held down and treated really unjustly by their government, their leaders, and they tried to fight back with their rebellious spirit, which certainly resonates with my native side and my Irish side. And they just were overrun and unable, right, to do it. But it's sort of like redemption song, right? Like this, I can now do what I can do to right those wrongs with my ancestors behind me and with all of you amazing, beautiful, awakened souls that have been with me from the beginning and believed in me and have now seen enough that I know what I'm talking about. You know that what I say resonates for you. You've had your own level of proof in your private lives when I've done readings for you. And everything I said happened, right? All of us together, we can change this. We don't have to live this way. We don't have to be lied to. We don't have to be killed by our own government for money or the resource that they want. We don't have to take any of this. Without us, they have absolutely no power. They need us far more than we need them. We're capable of anything they can do for us. Is a senator going to have your level of knowledge of carpentry skills or tools or building frameworks for houses to rebuild and things like that? I highly doubt it. Are they going to have your, IT skills to build us a, network or technological infrastructure? Again, I doubt it. Or your knowledge of planting and farming and, growing our own food and not in a factory by billion-dollar corporations don't give a shit what they're feeding us, full of antibiotics that has now made us resistant to them when we need them, and hormones that cause rapid cancers in women in particular, or 9-year-olds to get their periods in droves. Put it back the way it ought to be. Okay. We can do it. We don't need them. Stop giving them power. Stop letting them distract you with Diddy, with Cosby, with Epstein. Every time they don't want you to see what they're doing or see what's going on here, they give you a flashy celebrity scandal. Every time. And then, we got to do some more shenanigans, fuckery. Let's get the idiots online and release another piece of juicy information about Diddy. Let's say we're going to release Weinstein's list. It's been going on forever. It's worked on us forever. We've been controlled. We've been blind. We've been naive. And we have now been taken advantage of to the point where we ain't going to take it anymore. Our earth is raped. Our wallets are empty because we are making the rich richer and getting nowhere for it. Nowhere. No more. Do not trust your news source. I don't care what one it is. Do not get distracted by the shit that doesn't matter. Everything you're looking at and being fed on the news and in the political arena is fabricated bullshit delivered to you the way they want you to receive it. Not accurate. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day anyway. None of it matters. It cannot continue the way it is. It's time for us to come together as a collective, as a people, take back our power from them that we gave them, make them much less powerful, if not powerless, by not watching their debates, by not giving money to their campaigns, by not supporting the division they have created amongst us. They want us divided. They know that if we are solid and stand in solidarity, they have absolutely no chance. There's 9 billion of us. They have no shot. They know that. They don't want us to awaken to our power and the truth. To see how not stable their foundation actually is and how easily it can crumble. How easily we can make that happen. And we're gonna. Peacefully, not with war and weapons and violence. World War III is spiritual. But we need to stop it now. Come together as a collective. Help one another through all this shit that's going to continue to happen, like these storms and these crises and the devastation. Come together. Help your fellow man. We are all one. We are humankind. And do not give any more power, focus, publicity, money, whatever, to the people who are killing us. To get what they want, to take what they want, and to keep us down. And then we will collectively, as a people, the way it was always meant to be, recreate a new version of government and structure. One that works. One that doesn't divide us. One that doesn't fatten the pockets of the rich over and over and over again and keep us down. It needs to level out a little bit here. Okay? I don't have a problem with you being a super hard worker who got a degree in law and something very difficult, and you've worked really hard and are smart, and so you've acquired a job that pays more money than someone who didn't have access to great education and maybe didn't go to college and have the ability to put themselves in that sort of situation, or whatever it may be. Or maybe they just really like working with their hands and they went into a skilled trade, and when they could still make really great money doing that, right? Or they were called to a healing modality like massage therapy or whatever, right? I get that. That's okay. But when we're talking, we got people living off of 15 grand a year in some places. Rent payments in my area for a very modest house, 1,500 square feet, or so, no pools, nothing fancy, is upwards of $3,000, $4,000 a month. And then you've got people who have palaces in multiple countries and unimaginable generational levels of wealth. It needs to level out a little bit. Just because you got voted in to be a senator, a president, a vice president, whatever the hell you are, does not mean that you should get 70% of all of our resources and we just get the little scraps that are left. There's way more of us. F you. I'm a business owner. Do you know how many times I have to pay taxes on the same thing? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm done. I'm done. It's not fair. It's not just. I hate injustice. I'm done. So let's go. Let's keep digging. If you have an area of expertise in any of this that you would like to add, please do. I would love someone who knows more about what else may be going on that's being hidden from us. I would love to have someone around that knows the scientific side of all of this, that can sort of explain that for me and for my babes, because I can't be the one to deliver that information. A truly non-biased journalist, or something like that would be fantastic. Podcasters that work in this field, whatever. If you have something that you can add to this, please, please, please reach out to me. Let's get together. Let's collaborate. Let's form this collab. I don't know. Board of rebels. We're gonna figure it out. That'll be meeting one. We'll work on names and slogans and all the things. No, we're not going to structure it to replicate what we're trying to replace. Yeah, please reach out to me. Let's go. And if you're just interested in spreading the word, hearing more, supporting me, backing me, in the event that I get, I don't know, plastered across the news or something, discredited in some way or whatever, please let me know. Solidarity. UNITY. Queen Latifah, huge fan of yours. I met you years ago. I don't know if you remember. With Sinead O'Connor. One of the best days of my life. UNITY. We gotta unify. We gotta come together in solidarity. At the end of the day, that's it. At the end of the day, none of the conspiracy theories and the shit that they're doing really matters. Who cares about the details? It doesn't matter. All you need to know is that it's happening. It's happening. That's all we need to know. It's enough for us to just know that, expose them, and stop this before they kill all of us. We don't know who's the next target, right? If you live by something precious, I would listen a little closely, or closer. How the other candle's doing it. Can't make this shit up. Okay. Okay, we gotta come together. I 100% truly believe we are in big trouble if we don't fully embrace collective consciousness, the idea of us all coming together as one, because we are really powerful together. Okay? I feel like there are more predictions I wanted to say that I can't get out right now. I'm drained. But I did it. There's more scandal out there. There's more things, but we'll get there. I will find that article I was talking about Morgan, something from The Guardian wrote, and the ones that I've been stumbling upon about sound frequency and its effect on weather. Please check out HARP, check out its website, and Google it and start your own little deep dives. And there's tons of information on YouTube. So lots of people talking about it, especially now. Just look. Just at least look at what I'm saying, okay? Form your own conclusions, and there's not enough proof for you. I get it. Doesn't mean you maybe can't hear both sides, though. Stay open to it, right? Because like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I do. And if I'm wrong, there's no harm done. But if we don't